Hey everybody, Dr. J here again, and today I've got Sherri with me, and Sherri's got really a very interesting story for you all to learn about. Today is her first progress exam, so she's been in our office for about 3 to 4 weeks, and she's already started to see some really remarkable changes, and so I'll let you just kind of talk about your story. So this goes back at least 10 years, if not more, but I mean 10 years ago is when you first, you've had several low back surgeries, so can you kind of let us know how that all started and when you had the surgeries?
Yeah, about 10 years ago. I'm not sure what happened. I just couldn't get out of bed one day.
But did you have a few bulges or herniations down there?
I did. I had several bulges and herniations, and then I had 2 laminectomies and a fusion.
And that was in about a year or 2 year period? About 10 years ago. All 3 of those surgeries were about 10 years ago?
Yeah, from the first surgery to the 3rd surgery, it was almost... it was about 18 months.
18 months. Okay, gotcha. And you've obviously been suffering since through that for the last 10 years. So there's several things that are going on. So I'm just kind of going to break this down a little bit at a time. So when you came in about a month ago, talk about your left leg. What was happening with your left leg?
My left leg had some nerve damage, and I basically couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
You could touch it, scratch it. Didn't matter.
And you even had a tattoo on your foot, which is like, I guess, pretty painful. And you couldn't feel a thing.
I didn't feel it at all.
You couldn't feel it at all. So that gives people an idea. Like when she says that she can't, like when you poke on her legs or scratch her legs, she couldn't feel anything at all. And then talk about your right leg. What's happening there with your right leg?
With my right leg, a lot of pressure, burning sensation. My toes have felt like they've had really tight rubber bands around them, and hard to bend my toes, and shooting pain and cramps in my buttock.
And that was pretty much constant, at least every day, and throughout every day for many years now. And obviously we're going to talk about here in just a minute. We've already started to see some changes here, and so we're going to talk about that shortly. But before we do that, I just want to show folks what your films look like. I'm sure a lot of people have never seen what a surgery looks like, especially with the hardware that you've had put in there. So we're going to show them that next. So. Most of you have never seen what a surgery looks like in the spine. Now, some surgeries are done where they'll go in, and it's called a discectomy. Well, they'll take off part of the disc that's bulged or that's herniated. What we're looking at here, this is the third type of surgery the third surgery that Miss Sherri had was called the fusion surgery. And so, as you can see, there's screws that have been put into these bones here to fuse those bones together, and this is a piece that keeps everything those screws together. So that's what was happening there. Also, it looks like they put in a replacement disc in there as well. But as we can see, that last disc down at the bottom here is almost completely bone on bone. This is something that we work with people that have had these types of surgery. As you'll see in a little bit, where we're adjusting her is down here on her sacrum. That's where her problem is coming from, and that's why we're able to help her out, and we're not hurting this surgery at all because we're not really that close to that surgery. We're way down here, and as you can see, the surgery wasn't done on this bone at all. So we're able to help her out and not have any kind of negative impact on the surgery that was done. But that's why we're able to still help her out, is because, again, the problem is below where that surgery was done. So as you can see here, these are the scars from her surgery. But now what I'm going to do is show how I go about figuring out where these problems are coming from. If you've watched some of the other videos, you know that when there's pressure on a nerve, it's going to give off heat. And that's what this instrument does, is it measures temperature. And so this helps me find where the nerve pressure, or in other words, where the problem is coming from. And so as you see, this needle quickly jump back and forth. Right there. Now, there's not as much nerve pressure as there was when she first came in, but you'll see that jump right there. Actually, it's not showing up a ton of nerve pressure here today, which is interesting. But this is, again, and I'll make a little mark here, this is, again, how we go about finding where the problem is coming from with this instrument here. All right, and so we're going to be working on this sacral bone. For me, this is a different adjustment than anywhere else. I don't really put a lot of thrust into it. I'm just going to get some force into that sacral bone here. So with this, it's more of some pressure and then just a kind of a light thrust at the end there. And that's all that this bone needs. So just a little bit more here, Miss Sherri. My hand is right on that point. Just a touch more. There we go. And so again, we're just about 3 to 4 weeks into her care, and again, she's starting to see some pretty remarkable changes already. So let's talk about that. Well, first of all, go back to that first adjustment. That very first adjustment. I'm sure you remember what your response was. Talk about that first adjustment.
That very first adjustment, obviously I didn't feel a pop and didn't get a pop or anything, but when I got off the table and it felt like that rubber band had been cut off my toes, I just was in tears because I was so happy, because for me that was a pivotal point in this could really help, and I don't have to immediately start looking for neurosurgeons and have another surgery, which I knew would lead to another surgery, which would lead to another surgery. So to have that release and know that I can walk every day and I don't feel like rubber bands are on my toes, and I can feel my toes. It was really an amazing moment for me, because it was life changing, because I don't want to go through another surgery. I don't want another surgery. If I can avoid it, I do not want to have to go through any of that, because it just leads to more and more and more. And so I thank God every day.
I just remember. I mean, you barely. I mean, that table goes up and down. We didn't show that here today, but that table goes up and down. By the time it got to the top, I think you were already starting to cry, and you took a seat in that chair, and man, it was. Gosh, if I could see that every day, that would be amazing. But yeah, that was just amazing to see that. I could just see the light bulb go off, and I could just see that hope, just that hope restored to you, like immediately. So talk about the left leg again. That was the one where you had, you couldn't feel anything. You had the tattoo. You didn't even feel any pain with that. I think you said it here just a few minutes ago during your progress exam that you have some spots where you can feel.
Oh yeah.
Again,
And trust me, now I wouldn't have that tattoo done on the top of my foot, because I could feel the top of my foot.
You can feel the top of your foot.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also the right leg. I think you said again that's been constant. The cramps, everything going on the leg for years, and you had like in the last couple of days you said it's been kind of hit or miss, but you said I think like a week ago you had several days where you didn't really notice it much at all.
Exactly. There were several days where it didn't hurt to walk. It didn't. I actually even walked very fast, which usually I'm the last person. The last duck in the row. Meandering around, but I've been able to keep up with my family. I've been able to keep up with my children, and that within itself has been a miracle, because they asked me if I want to go now. Because I can.
Yeah. Before they just assumed that
I couldn't go. I couldn't go. I couldn't participate because it hurt too bad. And now, to hear your children, hey mommy, let's go swimming, or hey mommy, let's go do this, or let's, for heaven's sakes, go into the grocery store is, and not have to sit in one of those wheelchair carts,
Those motorized cars.
Those motorized cars.
Yep.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
And it's a miracle. And
yeah.
I'm so excited.
Well, I am too. And again, we're only a small way through this this plan that we've got to revitalize your health and get your quality of life back. So I'm very excited where you're at now. I can tell you are. And the biggest thing is, again, you've got hope. You've got hope that you don't have to keep having surgery after surgery, that sort of thing. And I'm only expecting even better things as time goes on. So again, really excited for you now, but even more excited to see what's going to happen down the future. So we've got some more. We're going to have some more of these videos to kind of follow her story as time goes on. So again, thanks everyone for watching. This is Dr. J with Sherri. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.